What's up, AfterBuzzers? You are watching the after show for the Mindy Project, Season 4, Episode 15, Too Fast, Too Serious. With Mindy and Danny on the outs, who is Mindy going to go for next? Stay tuned to find out.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We are so excited to be here talking another episode of the Mindy Project with all of y'all. And it's one that I loved seeing because I loved seeing Mindy back on her game.
Yes, back in the saddle.
Even though y'all know I miss Danny and Mindy, but I liked seeing her back there. Y'all can find me on Twitter and Instagram at April Whisenhant. As always, you can find all of us at AfterBuzz TV. Don't forget to download, like, and comment because we definitely want to hear what you have to say. Lindsey, where can I find you?
You can find me, Lindsey Miller, at Rockin' Mama Life on Instagram, Twitter, and Periscope.
So what do you think about tonight's episode?
I really liked it.
I did too.
I thought it was fun, and I think I liked what it opens up, maybe more than the actual episode. It's really exciting, I think, to see Mindy dating again, because we know that's going to be hysterical and entertaining, at least. And I really liked also seeing more. You know, it's funny because last week I was talking about how I'm not a big fan of Colette because we haven't really seen any subplots with her for real, and so having this, moving in with Morgan, I think is a good opportunity to see a little bit more of Colette.
It made me actually start to like her character more. Not that just like I said last week, not that I've disliked her. I've just been kind of
we just haven't had an opportunity to get to know her, to what her character is really about.
Exactly. So tonight, seeing kind of the more, not that she hasn't been funny, but seeing the funnier side and just a little, she has more lines. I mean, flat out. So we get to see what she has to say more. We just see more of her.
Yeah. Instead of these random one lines, we see more of her.
Well, let's talk about her and Morgan. So she is currently living with her brother, Jodi Kimball Kinney.
Yes.
But she wants to move out, as she should. They're both grown adults with, jobs. Although I do wish my little brother would live with me. So I don't know. I mean, only because I wanted to move to California temporarily. So that's a different story. But she is currently living with him. But we discovered tonight that she and Morgan are possibly going to get somewhere to live. And I know they've had their fake dating relationship in the past. But did you find it kind of random that they were going to live together, or a natural occurrence?
I mean, I think it was out of the blue just because we haven't seen this friendship really fully
develop.
Even exist. And but I think on all levels it makes sense. It makes sense that they would be friends, sort of this kind of Bobbsey twins of moronic stupidity kind of thing. They're both not the brightest tools in the shed, but they're very fun loving and kind of open people, so it makes sense that they would have this bond. And I just hope it doesn't take away from the bond that Mindy and Morgan have, because I don't think it will, because he's so obsessed with her, but I like the best friend aspect that they have between the two of them. But wouldn't it be funny to see Mindy get jealous?
I know, because Morgan's always so jealous.
Morgan's always there and always so upset when he's not a bigger part of Mindy's life.
I couldn't believe that he had picked out such a nice place.
It was really nice.
It was
actually surprising,
because Jodi is of course not for Colette moving out, and he even goes so far to fire Morgan because of it.
Morgan.
I love how he's like, what can I do for you? He's like, you can go in there and put all your stuff in a box and just leave because you're fired.
Yeah.
Because he's such an overprotective brother, and he says that he imagines that any apartment that Morgan would pick out would be a reflection of him, rotting on the inside or something like that.
Well, I mean, I think Jodi was a bit extreme, but I think we were all probably thinking, are you sure you want to live with Morgan? Have you seen Morgan?
Well, because we know how many dogs he has.
A former convicted felon. He's got 20 dogs.
Exactly. And that's one thing that I kept wondering is I'm like, where are all the dogs gonna go? And how is his grandma really gonna feel about this? But Morgan has one of the funniest lines whenever he's he's talking about like being a former soda addict, and I forget what he says, but he's like, I'm back on it. I drank so many Sprites today. I'm like, that stuff is addicting though.
Yeah.
Don't drink soda drinks.
I'm not a big soda person. I know.
And only when I come here. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So Jodi goes to see this place because, you know, of course, Mindy is kind of telling him, she's your sister, you have to give it a chance.
Let her go. You're full-grown adults.
Exactly. And it's kind of, a lot of stuff that Jodi does is kind of weird, but it definitely is weird that he, like, wouldn't want her to move out, because even Mindy's like, isn't it going to be so much easier, like, to bring chicks over, to do whatever? And that's what I would think, like, wouldn't you want your sister to move out?
Yeah. I think there's definitely some stuff there, like, with Jodi, but he was, like, engaged before? I think he was engaged, but he was also, you remember he was having the affair with his brother's wife for a really long time. And he was really hooked on her. And I think he's got some backstory that we haven't, like, found quite seen. I feel like we haven't really, like, cracked into, like, who he is. Yeah. And part of that I feel like is the writing a little bit. I feel like when he was first introduced, he was like one character. Yeah. And he's kind of become a completely different one.
They're peeling the layers back on him.
But it doesn't even feel like peeling the layer. You know, like with Danny, it felt like peeling the layers back. Yeah. Right? True. But he was still the same guy. He was just, like, softening it a little bit, or, like, we were finding more of the heart behind kind of the pit bull. Yeah. But with Jodi, it feels like he's kind of become, like, a completely different character than the one we first met. And I almost wonder if part of that was that they needed to. Right. To fuel, like, what happened with Danny and his, you know, what's the name of the actor that plays Danny? I can never remember his name.
Chris Messina.
Yes, Chris Messina being absent and having to try to kind of, like, unexpectedly rewrite some of the storyline.
Right. That makes sense, because I think that, I mean, especially in all of our comments that we get on the after show, no one was a big fan of Jodi Kimball Kinney at first. So, and writers do kind of have to pay attention to that. Obviously, you want, like, but this isn't a show that you want a villain on, if that makes sense. Definitely a show where you can, like, love to hate someone, or a show where you're like, oh, this person's annoying, but they say hilarious things. Yeah. Which I think is kind of how his character was initially started, but maybe it was a little too much. And so they've kind of taken it back a little bit. Yeah. But so Jodi finally gives Colette and Morgan his blessing to move in together.
Begrudgingly.
Yes. And they immediately want a housewarming party.
Of course. That's what you do when you move in with a new roomie.
Yeah. But Colette doesn't want him to be there. But I wasn't thinking that it's like, okay, immediately we have this housewarming party. But apparently that's what it was, I guess.
No, I think she was... Yeah, I misunderstood that scene a little bit, too, because it seemed like, oh, we're having the house party right now, and we don't want you here. But I think it was like, oh, we're going to have a housewarming party, and they were all excited about, like, being able to move in and planning it. And Jodi was like, let's go do this right now and celebrate. And she was kind of like, I kind of want to...
hang out with my
roomie. Be with you right now. You know, I want to celebrate this moment with my new roomie.
That makes more sense. Yeah. Like, he looked so hurt, so I actually kind of felt bad for him. But they throw this weird housewarming party. I mean, what else would we expect?
What were they, like, 8th grade band?
And all they could play was the Pink Panther, which reminds me of my 8th grade band.
I love that even that was, like, too weird for Morgan.
I know.
If it's too weird for Morgan, it's really weird.
He's like, they gotta play something pepped up. Come on.
Like, where did he find the 8th grade band?
I think Colette found the 8th grade band.
Oh, okay, that's even better.
Yes, Colette found the 8th grade band, and then they found all of these random friends, I guess. It's so funny because I always think of them only being friends with one another. So I forget that, like, oh, you know other people.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, it's like, who does Colette... I don't know. Like, they're relatively new in town. Like, where do you meet people other than work?
Maybe they're all Morgan's friends, I guess.
Maybe.
Who knows?
It's friendly.
But so some stuff goes awry at the party. The puppies are released. Yes. They go everywhere. But it ends up with Jodi coming by, and Colette says she didn't know that he was going to be there. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, well, surprise. I just bought the place upstairs because I realized I didn't need all of this room in my apartment. And they kind of have a good moment where she says, I think you're doing this because you're afraid of, you know, like a real commitment and of really settling down with someone. So that's why you want, like, oh, you know, your kid sister to be around or to not, like, fully be alone by yourself.
Yeah. I really liked that scene. I liked how they added that in, and almost how we're not only going to start to get to know Colette a little bit more, but hopefully get to know more about Jody so that we can like his character a little more.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think just kind of going off of that, Jody tonight, we see him, obviously he has all this stuff with Colette, but he and Mindy also have some...
Yeah, because they're going to hook up.
Exactly, I know. Well, so let's talk about Mindy dating first. So huge. Mindy is, I'm glad she's like not, she's just going in for it and she's already going to put herself out on the scene and date someone.
Yeah, and I'm glad the writers did this because I don't think we could handle another full season, you know, like however many episodes of the Danny and the Mindy and the Danny and the Mindy and the will they and they won't they and the drag it out. It gets
I think it became too much about just that. Even whenever they were like together and doing fine, like every episode was about a specific thing between the two of them, and like Mindy wasn't having her own separate little things going on really. I mean, she was kind of, but really every episode was about like a conflict and a resolution. So as much as I still do believe Danny and Mindy are
not gonna happen.
I can appreciate what they're doing. So they have
I think Chris Messina's out.
I don't think so. I Googled and I didn't see anything about it. So surely he's not yet, at least. Well, they're still filming season 4 because I think we have I'm going to say I'm going to say the wrong number. I'm not sure, but I did Google about is Chris Messina leaving the Mindy Project, and I couldn't find a single thing about it. So normally there's like some kind of something. Now there are the articles that say like he's in the season less because of filming other things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, watch, I say this and there's probably like an article posting as I speak. But so her new love interest is Bryant. We learned, played by Ross Marquand, who I love in The Walking Dead. I'm a huge fan. And she gets the best love interest on the show. I guess it pays off to be the creator and lead actress and executive producer.
You know, I love that, though, because I feel like, you know, she's not your typical Hollywood leading lady.
Right.
In any way, shape, or form. And I think that it's really refreshing that they don't make her love interests like not hot.
Right.
They should be hot.
Exactly.
Like she's hysterical and has an amazing job and she's attractive and she's, you know, like she has so much going for her. Although I will say
she definitely has a type though. She likes white boys. I mean, and when I say that, I mean I don't mean that in a bad term, of course. I'm saying in like she likes all American, brunette, like, but she also says, or Mindy Kaling herself has said before, that a lot of her love interests on the show are reflections of people that she's dated. Like we know Chris Messina's character is, a lot of him is based off of BJ Novak, who she was on The Office with and who dated in real life, seems like they're still dating all the time, but they're not. I think they're like best friends. Yeah. But so a lot of people in her, like Seth Meyers was one. Yeah. I mean, think about all of them. They all kind of have you could put them in a row and they kind of look alike. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But so he is. I don't know how they met. I forget.
Their
if they said
postman, I think.
Oh right.
Set them up on a blind date.
I mean, the nicest postman ever, I guess. Yeah. They went to a wings restaurant for their first date and seemed to genuinely be, well, they definitely hit it off for sure. And
after Mindy called them out for like not paying attention. I think we've all been there. You just don't take a guy to a sports bar.
Exactly.
If you want to actually have a conversation with that guy.
But when I like that she kind of just rolled with it, which is typically not Mindy style, because he's like, it's the huge basketball game and huge baseball game and the biggest fight ever. Yeah. And she kind of went with it. And I guess she ate 3 plates of wings, which is 100% I would do that.
Yeah. She was like, oh, I like MMA. It's really cute when they 69 each other. Oh, Mindy.
It kind of seems like they do sometimes, so I don't know. Yeah. But so they hit it off. Everything goes well. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of starts to seem like stuff is happening a little too
Very
soon.
fast.
What did they do for their second date?
Their second date...
Because the third date was the wedding.
The second date?
They didn't show their second date, I don't think. We'll think about it in a second. But we know that, so they're out somewhere.
The second date was when she told him that she's a mom.
Right. Okay, because that was actually one of my favorite scenes of the episode is when Mindy gets home from her Bryant's first date and Morgan's waiting there with little Leo and she's like, oh, holy crap, I'm a mom. I forgot to tell him.
I forgot to tell him. And Morgan's like, did you tell him about me? And starts crying. It was lovely.
But it's, I mean, obviously her forgetting, she didn't forget that she was a mom.
But I don't know that you need to.
On the first date, someone you just met, you don't need to dish every single thing.
Necessary.
Because I always think of it, I mean, like maybe if you like them and feel the need to go on a second or third date, that's that's something that definitely comes up in conversation. But I think especially a first, probably even a second, you don't need to go around telling everybody.
No, if it's
not that
just,
it's a secret,
if it's
but
casual, I don't think you need to. But I think as soon as you start to have feelings for somebody or you feel like it might be real, then you need to have that conversation,
right?
Because you don't want.
And people I feel like people take that like tough sometimes, but it's also like, you don't know my life. I don't have to tell you everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah. But so he tells her that, she tells him that she's a mom and he's cool with it. He's like, I love kids. Yeah. And he's like, we're both in our 30s. Or no, he's like, I forget what he says, but then we later learn that he's not 29. About to be 30 and she slaps him. That was hilarious. But he says he loves kids and that he's completely fine with it. Yeah. And then he asks her to go to a wedding. Now, I don't know about you personally, but like a wedding is, I mean, I love like going with my friends. I love weddings, but like as a date, deal. A wedding is serious.
A big deal.
And when you're just getting to know someone or like it's just the beginning of dating, I don't know that I would say yes to that. But I guess he kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, because think about it, all the like, when I think of like, even if it's not your family, which, you know, we learn it turns out to be his brother's wedding. Yeah, it's still like all the people asking like, oh, who is this? And to be dating so quickly, or I mean, so soon, it's a little strange.
I think you either bring somebody who's like just a friend. Yeah. Or
someone you're serious with.
Bring someone you're serious with. I don't think you just go with like someone you're casually dating.
And every person in the office had their opinion. Like at the beginning, they're like, oh, you didn't tell him you have a baby. He's dumping you. Yeah. And like Jodi had some funny lines about that, but he's like, oh, he's going to run away. So don't even worry about it. And then after this one, they're like, oh no, he liked you too much. He asked you to a wedding for the third date. Yeah. Which is true. But so they go to this wedding. And he introduces Mindy to what we know as his mother. Yes. But Mindy thinks that it's one of a YouTube viewer.
Fans for her cereal reviews.
Because she's like, oh, you must be Mindy. Or you're Mindy. And she's like, oh, yes. Da-da-da. And
he's like, say keep crunching or something?
Yeah. She's like, this is my mom. This isn't a YouTube viewer. So he's clearly talked to his family about her and everybody knows her. And then he's like, wait, my entire family is here. Oh, because it's my brother's wedding.
And I'm the best man. Here, cuddle up with my mom.
Have a seat. Which, I mean, I guess I would like, at least she was like nice to her.
I would freak out.
I would freak out too.
That would be so overwhelming. I would be like, this is not right.
But at least the mom was crazy. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, but he like put a picture of them in the slideshow. They gave a toast, which I would have killed to see that toast.
I know. I thought we would.
Been hysterical, I'm sure.
Whenever they put the picture up, so that he's like, okay, it's the time for the slideshow, and it shows the picture of them from like the or before the wedding. I'm like, how did that even happen? Your AV must be amazing.
Yeah, it's impressive.
So this guy, we learn, is, you know, possibly on the rebound from someone because Tamra, who we haven't seen much of recently, but I'm glad we got to see more of her today, she tells Mindy, like, you have to Google this guy, which I'm like, isn't that step number one?
Well, Mindy did Google him, but she thought his name was Brian and not Bryant with a T, and there's like a million Bryans, and so...
And she didn't even know that at the wedding, she's like, oh, it's Bryant.
Yeah.
And so that's how she ends up Googling him, or Tamara ends up finding him. And she's like, it looks like he's just recently been in a relationship or recently engaged.
Which Mindy knew. She knew that he had gotten out of an engagement.
She didn't know that it was like 2 months ago. So that's a bit of a problem. So they track down his ex, Teresa. And I love the idea that they pretended to get into this woman because she's a venture capitalist or an investor.
It was actually a good idea.
I thought so too, because they got in with the idea. They're like, okay, we're here with a new creation for nude underwear for women. And the lady, the reception, she's like, oh, no, whatever. And she's like, no, I mean for colored women. Yeah. And I'm like, that is genius. Yeah.
Especially because they're both women of color. And like to go in there and be like, well, it doesn't. What did Tamara say? She's like, every time I get dressed, I feel like I have no place in this world or something like that. I was like, oh.
I feel like someone should be writing the patent for that right now.
I think it exists. But
I'm sure
maybe
it does.
not. I don't
know. But so they get in and they start asking this woman. They're like, they tell her about their idea, and she says she wants to invest. They're like, okay, so tell us more about you. Have you recently been engaged? What happened? Blah, blah, blah. And so she ends up telling them, or she
recognizes.
She looks at Mindy, and she's like, "Did you come and clean my house last week?"
Which is so offensive and amazing.
And she's like, "Oh no, I saw a picture." So we learned that Bryant had sent her a picture of him and Mindy. Mindy's sleeping on his shoulder, and he's like, "Hi, so sorry about the long message. Just wanted you to see that I've moved on." Yeah. And Mindy, of course, gets upset because she's like, "I thought he liked me for me. I didn't think he was using me to like move on from someone." But you know, there's always a twist to it.
I think she knew there was like a
little something
weird going on.
Yeah. But so she gets back to Brian and tells him like, I know you're not over your ex, and I just
because he was at Colette and Morgan's housewarming, had apparently gotten there at 4 p.m. and had been like making plans with Jeremy to go on power walks
without her invite.
She didn't even invite him.
Oh yeah, I forgot he said it. He's like, we're gonna go on a walk later. That's hilarious.
So then she takes him into the room full of the dogs.
Yes.
Which is where they've all been hiding. And
has the lovely chat with him. So I don't think we'll see any more of him, but I think, just like you and Cam said last week, we will see more of Mindy and Jodi Kimble-Kenny because of the scene that they had at the end.
But I will say that I have to say the scene with Bryant and Mindy where she's like, this is obviously you're not over your ex.
Right.
And he goes, what if settling for you is my best shot? And she gets all upset. And then she said, my favorite line is, she's like, meanwhile, I'm 35 with a kid and a bad personality. I'm never going to date again. I just thought it was hysterical.
Mindy, you will definitely find someone. But her and Jodi, they start to show that connection at the end when they're on the walk home, and he lives in this palace pretty much.
Right? And invites Mindy to spend the night, which was awkward.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, 8 rooms. You could do to me whatever you want.
Yeah. And they both sort of look at each other and are like, oh.
And then she's like, bye. I think they're definitely going that way.
Oh, they're going to hook up.
But we'll see.
It's obvious. I mean, that last scene of the show made it obvious. Like, all of our predictions are confirmed.
I think that they will, but I don't want them to.
It's like they're trying to repeat the Danny and Mindy, like, story arc.
But they've had her hook up with people at work before. So you never
I hope it takes, like, a turn. Maybe they'll get married. I still think maybe Jodi and Mindy are going to get married, and then Danny will, like, profess his love to her.
But we're going to see, we see some of her old boyfriends, too.
Oh, do we?
Oh, yeah. One of them, one of my favorites, will be back soon. Pastor Casey. So excited.
Isn't he married?
On the show?
He got married.
Oh.
On the show. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Like we saw Pastor Casey again, and maybe he was just in a relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll
see. She's going to hook up with Jodi. I know that.
Oh, I guess. Whatever. Okay, well, thank y'all so much for tuning in. As always, you can find us all at AfterBuzz TV. You can find me at April Whisenhant on Twitter and Instagram. Where can they find you?
You can find me, Lindsey Miller, on Twitter and Instagram at Rockin' Mama Life.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.